essentially the way it works right now is it goes through and it pulls these rows, and I think it finds the last one that they completed, and that's how it knows which one to open.
Okay.
So that's basically how this thing works.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's most of the applicant stuff. I mean, you've worked with these other tables in the past, so we probably don't need to get too much into that. Country, these are just lookup tables. Email template. All this is we have certain emails that get sent at certain points, and this just specifies the body of the email, subject of the email, the from address. For some reason, they felt it necessary to put the SMTP credentials for every email.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change. I mean, it'll be one and the same, but anyway, that's in there. So this is actually pretty useful, being able to have the email information in the database, so you can change it, that sort of thing. So
okay,
that's how this is working. Let's see. So for the employer section, you have the standard employer table. It gives all the information about the employer, subscription they have, the number of employees, etc. Okay. Now, as I was saying earlier, an employer user, the only people that can log in here are actual user accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So the employer user is tied to, and this might be an issue. Okay, so this is the problem. So this has got to be fixed, because if you look at the account table, right? This would be an employer user.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to, if you look at an employer user, there should be within the employer user table, it should map to an account ID.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
it also map to an employer. Because right now, all this employer user doing is mapping to an employer, which then maps to an account. So therefore, there's only one user allowed for an employer.
Yeah, per account or per employer. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to fix that. We need to have an account ID in this table, an employer user table, to map to the account for that user, and then we don't need an account field in the employer table. So I'm definitely telling that is something that needs to be done.
Okay.
Okay, so this employer user table has all the information about that actual user. They agree to the terms and conditions, that sort of thing. So, all right. So, and this is just basic. We don't really need to get into this. Billing information for the employer, their billing history, billing info. All this billing stuff is probably going to come out. Actually, I think we mentioned this in the last demo.
Mm-hmm.
All the billing is going to be handled through another system. So we'll probably get rid of a lot of this billing stuff.
Okay.
Credit card info, that'll be gone. Okay, so now, and I don't know a whole lot about this stuff. Employer search, let's see what that's about. Not being used much. Oh, this is going to be used to track searches. Back once upon a time, we were going to handle the subscriptions based on number of searches,
mm-hmm.
and so this table was going to be to allow us to track number of searches that employers have ran. So, but I don't think we're doing that anymore. So we could probably remove the employer search table. Are you recording this?
Yes. Don't worry.
I was going to say, because we're going through this kind of fast.
No, I'm recording.
All right, so employer search criteria. Let's see what's going on here. All right, employer search criteria. So let's see. Search names. Oh, I wonder what in the world. Oh my God, you're gonna love this. This looks like the saved searches is being stored within XML, all in this field.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know why they didn't just make separate fields to store the advanced search information, why they wanted to store an XML file. So, I would personally store it in fields in the database. It seems like it'd be much more easier to manage.
Yeah, I agree.
in a separate XML field. Oh, that's good. All right, so that's how they're doing that.
Wow.
Is advanced search? I don't know what's going on with that. What could that mean?
I'm not so sure about that either.
I don't know. A lot of we obviously need some more to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Subscription packet stuff. This is how we, obviously this isn't being used, so we never really got into the subscription packet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
According to Shannon, we're not really going to have separate subscription packages, except for possibly staffing companies and employers are going to have separate pricing. So, probably don't really need this table, but we might. It depends. We really got to lay out how they're going to do the pricing and figure out a way to structure the database around that. I don't know if we'll need these tables or not, but we'll get to that once we really start getting into the pricing and stuff like that. So, and it might all be, honestly, it might all be handled through the billing thing. And if we're not limited into people on searches or anything like that, we might not need to have any of that stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's all just going to be based on price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with the employer user table, let's check out the user view. Okay, so this is going to be back when we had, separate groups. We're not grouping this stuff anymore. We're not grouping applicants or anything like that, or employer users at all. Yeah, this is when an employer user could create groups and assign applicants to the groups. We don't need it now because also we're going to do the buckets.
Yeah.
Grouping. So we'll probably better remove these tables until we get into the buckets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. User rights. Check that out. Check out user role master. Okay, so this is normal. I mean, you have two roles. You have the administrator and we have the standard. Those are for employers. Administrator has right to do everything. The standard user will be kind of limited. They won't be able to get to the administrator. They won't be able to create new employer users and request background checks unless they've been specifically granted permission for that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go into the employer right master table. These are the different rights that are there. And let me make this sense. Let me go into the employer thing again. So, okay, so we'll go into the admin thing and we'll go into users. We'll go to create a new user. So these were the roles, administrator and standard.
Uh-huh.
Those rights, and obviously the types have been database and naming is not the same as what the UI naming is. But these are called roles here, whereas in the database they're called rights. But anyway, so sign background checks, sign assessments. Those are all what these fields are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, assessments can go away because we're not doing that. Sign background checks, that needs to stay the same. Manage users, that's fine. Manage billing, that'll be to go away too. The billing's going to be in the other systems. So, anyway, so there's really only two rights for a standard user, and that is, can they assign background checks or not, and can they create or manage users. So that's what that is. And then I guess the mapping is just going to specify which employees have those rights. Makes sense so far?
Yep. So far, so good.
Cool. Okay. And that's going to be most of it. So error log, I don't think this really ever got used. This was, in the past, the Indians were holding their errors into, they were using some kind of third-party tool.
Mm-hmm.
Error logs. I think it was called Log4net.
Okay.
They used a little bit. We never used it much. The last developer started, instead of using that, started trying to store the error into this database table.